I do not feel undervalued. I feel overworked sometimes. Just kidding. What? You want to say something?
Welcome back to the Earl Show with Earl. Make room for Mom. Me. You.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Really?
It's the Earl Show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you in a little bit. Yeah, we are. Okay, so we are back with podcast number 4. I think it's going pretty good.
4 in a row. Haven't missed.
We have not.
You gotta do like a formal introduction. Like you gotta have an intro into your video.
I'll work on that. I don't know.
Welcome back to the podcast. Video. Not really a podcast. Video in our living room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couch time.
Couch time with DJ. Except we're sitting on the ottoman.
It works.
Yeah. With the dogs in the house. It's a snow day.
It is.
It's very snowy outside and the sun's out, so all of our windows are like blinding us right now, but that's okay. It's
yes.
Perfect lighting. So let's get started.
Okay. So I'm actually going to start this one by reading, maybe.
Earl's trying to get in our lap.
He's just trying to get close to Daniel.
That's right.
I'm going to start by reading this email. It was an email I got about answering a question, really, and it just kind of made me think a lot more about it and want to do a whole podcast about it, really. I think it'll be a good topic. So I'm going to read it to you real quick. This is Aaron from Simon Says Farms, and he says, as you know, my wife Liz and I also run a YouTube channel / business. Congrats on all your success. With that said, can you, DJ, please talk about the teamwork on the business and the YouTube channel, even though most of the videos don't have you in them? Do you ever feel undervalued? Unfortunately, the perception from the YouTube community is that I, Aaron, do everything, even though Liz is the one making all the products. She isn't a fan of the camera in her face all the time. Thank you both so much. Sorry if this is a hard question. So it's really not a hard question for me because I definitely don't feel undervalued.
Sorry, Earl.
Your animal problems
Earl just wants to be
are
on
interrupting.
Video.
This is why he gets all the hate. But he's just so lovey and fun and curious and wants to know what is going on, huh? And you want to be close to him.
I'll just hold him off camera down here.
Perfect.
Roll okay. Back to what you were saying.
Back to what I was saying, because interruption happens here. This is real life. Daniel gets a lot of hate for, being a part of this podcast, which blows my mind because, we're doing this together. So he does have to speak some, guys. Okay, so being undervalued. As far as the channel goes, I do not feel undervalued. As people that have followed our channel for a long time knows that I did not like being on camera at all for many years. I mean, I just didn't. I didn't like talking to the camera, and then I didn't like having to listen to him edit because I didn't like hearing myself or seeing myself. Not for me. Now, obviously, I've grown, I feel like, in that area, and I'm not on many videos, and that's okay. I like being behind the scenes. I like doing all the other stuff that you don't see. I do not feel undervalued, even though I'm not on the videos very often. I will say that I'm going to take this kind of a different direction, but being a parent is very undervalued. Being a mom, I would say, I do feel undervalued. Not by him per se, but definitely by your kids. Like, I have great kids, but sometimes, they're cuss words. I mean, let's just be honest. As great as they are, sometimes you just, they don't appreciate everything that you do for them as they're growing up, and now it makes me realize I was that kid too, and he was that kid, and it's not a fault. It's just our nature, I feel like, as children, to just kind of expect our parents to take care of everything for us and do it because, they brought us into this world. So it's kind of their fault, it's kind of our fault. We brought our kids into the world. And so we have to raise them up and show them. And so in that process, they don't thank you for doing, literally for keeping them alive. They don't thank you. And so that part, which I feel like is moms and dads in general, I feel undervalued. We just don't talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but, and I think Weston's starting to kind of come up out of that. Now, does he, say thank you for doing my laundry, every time I do it? Actually, he does now. Now that I think about it, now that I said that, he does. Whoops.
Way to go, Weston.
Yeah, way to go. He does now. Did he a year ago?
The dogs are shaking our camera. Y'all go somewhere else. Go. Go lay down, Gemma. Go lay down, Earl. They're like bumping the tripod. I'm sorry. That really bugs me.
Yeah, so a year ago, did he thank me? No. But I think that maturity is starting to come up a little bit, get out of the, baby.
Me.
Yeah. And so, now Emily's kind of cruising into it a little bit and,
Me.
yeah. Like it's literally sleeting and snowing yesterday or the day before. And we're preparing, we can't leave because we've already gotten all the groceries and all the things and to prepare for being stuck at home for a few days. And she's like, as it's sleeting, Mom, can we go to Walmart? I said,
which is like 12 miles away.
Yes, it takes us every bit of 25 minutes to get to Walmart from our house. And I said, what do you need from Walmart? I want some canvases to paint on. I said, no. And then I was like, I have some in there in my closet. No, those aren't going to work. I said, you haven't even seen them. And then she got bored enough, and a little while later, after she was mad because we wouldn't take her to Walmart, she did go ask her daddy, and he was like, no, we're not going to Walmart. And so she goes and finds the canvas, and she painted all the canvases.
Earl's literally playing by himself because we're not giving him attention.
Gemma's on the floor. He's aggravating her.
This right here, this was Emily the other day. Like, yeah. I need attention.
Yeah. But I don't know exactly how to go. I hope I'm kind of answering Simon's question. I don't feel like I am.
I mean, it wasn't really a question that was meant to be for a full podcast, though.
That's true. That's true.
So do you feel undervalued, as in, I feel like it's hard sometimes to show the whole story in a 20-minute video. So people see
highlights,
20 minutes into our life 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, not counting the podcast that is new. This is something we're doing, but we've done 3 videos a week for several years now. And before that, it was a few more. But so you're seeing 20-minute highlight or 20 minutes of what we chose to show 3 times a week. And that's just such a small fraction of not just our life, but anybody that's a social media video creator. And you're only seeing such a small bit. Bella, go lay down.
No.
You're gonna make those poor animals go outside?
Yep.
It's cold.
I don't care.
You mean woman.
Yep. I told you we should have from the beginning.
But it's like,
I don't care.
They're gonna die.
They'll be fine.
They're gonna die.
People will tell us they're gonna die.
So you see such a small part. So, and we can't show everything. Like, that's just not feasible. That's not real life. So let's take, for example, Houston and I just returned from Miami, Florida. You guys saw those videos. Those videos, I mean, don't fit our channel 100%. That's kind of out of the ordinary, so I get it first off. Second, it was just Houston and I that went on the trip. Why didn't you go to Miami?
I didn't go to Miami because Weston had basketball game. And me and Emily went to that. Did Emily have a game while y'all were gone?
It got canceled.
Yeah, it did get canceled. So I chose to stay home to go watch Weston play ball. And obviously someone had to be here to take care of the animals, so I got to do that. And while they were gone, we had, how many babies?
We had 3.
We had 3. Yeah, we definitely had 3.
Yeah, they don't know that yet, though.
Oh, whoops.
That'll be a future video.
Okay, well, sorry. I ruined that for us. But anyway, so I didn't mind missing. And I think it's good for Daniel to go, with each of our kids and do something, just like, I do something with them separately,
But there's only so much
times.
that we can show on the channel. And kind of where I was going was Houston and I went to Miami. The whole purpose of the trip, we were invited by Blake from Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch and Greg, the pond guy, from way back when we were in Chicago back during the summer for that big project. And really, it didn't have a lot to do with the channel, but I was kind of not doing Greg a favor, but Greg was like, hey, I want you to come. I want you to see how this is done, what goes on behind the scenes and all of that. Because Greg is wanting to build a pond for Houston, for us, for our family, but mostly for Houston. It's his thing. That's his hobby, is the fish pond stuff and his little, stock tank pond. And so that was the purpose of going. We were there. I was like, while we're in town, let's go see Donovan and his family, because he has all of these adventures, basically. He does all this stuff that we enjoy. So we showed that on the channel. And those videos get a lot of hate. Like,
and I don't understand it. Like,
I'm not talking about the hate in hateful comments of, I can't believe you would go shoot an iguana. Like, I get it. Not everybody's going to agree with that. What I'm talking about is the hate in, like, towards a 9-year-old kid.
Right.
Like, hate in a lot of people saying, it looks like you're forcing Houston to do these things. You're pushing this stuff on Houston. Like, you're living through Houston, and why are you doing this stuff? And I don't get that, because what you guys don't see behind the scenes is Houston's the one that finds most of this stuff in Florida that we've gone to do. Like Blake, that he watches Blake, and Greg, the pond guy, like he watches, like he knows all of this stuff.
Even before we knew them.
Yes.
Like, that's what got us to do that. I mean, with raw fishing, a few years back when he got to meet him, like, that's because he is the one involved in this. Guys, he's already told us that when we're gone and this place is his, that he already has his turtle sanctuary spot picked out on the property.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're not going to hopefully be gone.
Right.
But that's him. That's where his mind is.
It is. But a lot of the comments on those videos kind of lean towards like this overprivileged kid that is just given everything, and why do we see more of Houston and not Emily or Weston or even Ellie? Like, we were with Donovan and his family for the weekend. We stayed 3 days in their RV in their yard and went on all these adventures with Donovan, and he's a professional charter captain that takes people out and does this stuff. Well, we were just there as friends, so he brought his daughter along, and they were like, a lot of the comments were kind of bashing us because of the way Houston was getting more camera time than Ellie. I'm like, well, this is our channel. We're on this adventure. Team Tate, which is Donovan's YouTube channel, they do their stuff, and Ellie was just there with us hanging out. But I don't know, it was just kind of, a lot of that stuff rubbed me wrong, but it kind of, that undervalued thing, I guess, plays into it is do we show more value to Houston than the other kids?
Yeah, and I absolutely think that's a definite no.
Right. But what they see on camera,
right?
They see, because Houston loves the YouTube channel and wants to be a part of it at this phase in his life.
Right.
At this phase in his life.
Yes.
Weston, when he was 8 years old, go back and look at our channel.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah. He was the armadillo guy and hunting deer, and I mean, he did all of this then. And then he got older and turned into a teenager, and one of these days he might come back around to it. But that's just the phase. It's like Emily. She loves TikTok. I mean, like, she's a TikToker, but any other thing as far as the channel, she's not really interested. You know, I mean, but that doesn't mean we aren't doing things with the other two kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
time-wise, we spend a lot of time with the other two kids' activities. I mean, we do. Their activities right now at this phase in their life are sports. Like, that's where their time and attention is. And I do show a few clips of Weston and the basketball stuff on the channel, but not a lot. Like, it's hard to make Arms Family Homestead's adventures into his basketball stuff, because let's just be honest, like, it's not everyone's interest, but filming at a basketball gym is not conducive to YouTube channels. Like, they play a lot of copywritten music, and there's a lot of other people that aren't involved in the channel, and a lot of people that don't know about the channel, and quite honestly, I'm not going to go around and get everybody's permission. Hey, can your child be on our channel? Like, I'm just showing a few clips of Weston, like, and it comes across as like he's the superstar on the team. He's not. Like, most games he doesn't start. He comes off the bench, and he scores 6 or 8 points, gets a few rebounds. But like, he's a freshman. He's building his way. He's working his way up on the team. But I just show a few clips, so it's not like he's the team leader right now by any means, like he was in high school.
Right.
But anyways, I don't know if that even really kind of goes with the question. As far as being undervalued, like, I'm not trying to take this over.
No, you're good.
Okay, so like, one thing that kind of struck me in reading that question or hearing it, kind of the difference in me as a state trooper versus me as a YouTuber. Like, that's one of the little struggles as being a man, in a sense. Like, I felt way more valued as a man in my local community when I had that title of state trooper. And I think that's just part of being a man, like the masculinity side. Like, when I walked out in public, people knew whether I was on duty or not. It had nothing to do with the uniform. It wasn't a power trip. But when you walk into a basketball gym, people know you in the small town community as the state trooper. Yep, when I walk in now, I don't get the same response. Like, oh, you're just a YouTuber. What's that? Like, it's not even a job. You don't even do anything. You retired at 35 years old. Well, no, I didn't. I just switched careers like anybody else would. Like, and it's not a problem. I'm not saying it's negative, but I see that after a couple of years of being out of law enforcement. I mean, it's just there. It's just real. And I think a lot of the older guys, thinking back over the years, a lot of the older troopers that I worked with that retired and literally retired and didn't have another career. Like, I can't imagine what the change is like for them. And, I don't know. So I see where Simon's, well, his name's not Simon. Simon Says Farm on YouTube, but his name's Aaron. I see where he's coming from between the relationship with him and his wife and what goes on and what people see publicly versus what really goes on behind the scenes, because there's a lot of work that goes into running a farm and a YouTube channel and a family and your business. And like with them, with Aaron, like, their YouTube channel's small, but they sell soap and lotion, and that's like a huge business for them. So he's running a small YouTube channel with a huge soap business, and his wife's doing most of that. I mean, I can see where it'd be easy for the other partner, the spouse, to be undervalued, at least publicly. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's that way at home.
That may be the perception, out in YouTube world, that I'm probably undervalued. I do not feel undervalued. I feel overworked sometimes. Just kidding. What? You want to say something? No? You're not going to say anything?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I'm totally kidding. I love what I do. But as far as, the family side of it, the mom side of it, I feel like I'm just like anyone else running a family. You know, y'all just kind of get to see us on your TV or on your phone. And there is a lot of stuff that I do, even a lot that I do that he doesn't see, you know, but he knows it gets done and he knows I do it. And most of the time he's good about, you know, thanks. You know, sometimes he drops the ball, but I know he appreciates it, you know.
I have my ways.
Oh my God, this is going in a different direction. But the undervaluing, I think, just is for me for the mom side of things. And I just think that's normal. I don't know how you change that. I mean, obviously you try to get your kids to, you know, they thank everyone else for doing stuff for them that's not their parents. You know, they thank their teachers or whatever, you know, their friends or their friends' parents even, you know. Thank you for feeding me. Thank you for, you know, whatever it is, you know, for paying my way into a ball game or whatever, you know. I mean, other kids thank us when they come over, you know.
Everyone always says their kids are better for other people.
Yeah.
And like, you know, part of you as a parent goes, okay, that means we did our job. Like,
yeah.
if we see our kids sometimes as ungrateful little monsters, you know,
right.
But when they go to someone else's house and then we talk to that person later and they say, that was the most polite kid I've ever been around, or your daughter is so sweet, she's just an angel, you know, like, that means we did our job.
Those are my favorite kind of text or messages. I mean, I've gotten messages and texts as far back as when Weston was Houston's age, you know, and for how kind he was to their special needs kid, or, you know, befriending them, and, you know, just all kinds of stuff. And Emily the same way, and Houston. I've gotten several messages like Emily being out with her friends at a ball game somewhere, and a fan messaged me and say, you know, my kid, you know, went and spoke to Emily at the ball game today, and they were so nervous, and she was so kind to them, you know. And so those things are just, you know, they're very validating for us, you know, because I don't know about you all, but like I literally feel like I'm screwing up every one of my kids every day at some point. I'm like, okay, why? You know, I literally, excuse my French, walk around saying what the hell a lot with those kids because I'm like, what are they thinking? Like, what? You know, did I drop the ball? Are they screwed up for life? You know, and they're not. You know, they're just at home and comfortable and push limits with their parents. And
homes are a safe space.
Yeah.
Though. Like that's probably a good thing. Like,
right.
You know, Emily's a straight A student who is on every honor roll and every sport, but she comes home and has the messiest room I've ever seen in my life. Like, we fight with her all the time. That's her thing.
I like that we.
She fights with Emily all the time, and I catch turds roll downhill, right? I catch it, so then I've got to go and be the mean dad once a month or so.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was saying is homes, they're safe space. So yeah, we do have rules and we have structure, but I still think it's good that homes, they're safe space. Not that they allows them to be disrespectful to us, and their room should be clean and they do need chores, but it's good to know that we're raising kids that will be successful in life at some point.
At some point. We don't know when, you know? Okay. So I think now I'm going to roll into some questions because Ed has a really good question.
How does he do it every week?
Every week, he's doing great.
I think you're playing favorites. That's what I think it is.
I mean, maybe a little bit. Okay, so Ed's question. Do you have any pointers on balancing work and family, and are there any areas you need to improve time management? So I'm going to kind of address balancing work and family first. I don't feel like it's hard anymore to balance. I think as we had babies and we added a baby, you know, that was hard. Mm-hmm. That was hard for me. Going from from 1 to 2 kids was extremely hard for me. Because your whole flow is just like, and then going from 2 to 3 wasn't really that bad. I think for me, going from 1 to 2, going from a boy to a girl was super hard for me with time management. I was never late a day in my life, I don't think, until I had a daughter. And the hair and the clothes and newborn stuff, and it just like, you know, I always needed more time than what I allowed. But as they've gotten older and obviously much more independent than they were as, you know, toddlers even, it's just what we do. It's who we are. Our kids are our life, you know, and so it's not, I don't find it hard to balance. You know, we make it work, and that's where I guess the time management question kind of comes into play. I'm a very organized person. Always have been. I literally have a planner right here. I have planners that go back to me in high school every year. He thinks I'm a weirdo because I've kept them. Yeah. But literally I have a planner for every year of my life since probably a junior in high school. And if I did not have this thing, I would not be a functioning human being, I don't think, successfully. Because we do have so many things going on in so many different directions, especially with Weston not being here now and in college. And obviously the older they get, the more opportunities they have for sports and events. And that's where we're at now. I mean, he's in college, and thankfully he just has this one little, you know, time frame, this one basketball season, and not all the other sports anymore.
Yeah.
So that will help. I mean, he did do, you know, when he was younger, he did football, basketball, baseball. Junior high did track, and then, you know, again in high school he did track, and then of course your proms and all the things, you know, and then when you add on Emily's, and anyway, it just, you know, without this, I would not be able to function. So, Ed, this is where my time management is. And this also goes for our YouTube channel life. You know, we literally sat down the other day and wrote out a year's plan, month by month, on what events we had going on, so we could see where we're at and what we need to do and what we need to add or change or work around. And so I think being organized is extremely beneficial for our family. I do not enjoy chaos.
Well, on the other side, for me though, the work life, work family balance, time management stuff. Obviously now being full time on the internet, I can work my schedule around all of our events. That's easy. When I was a trooper for 14 years, work and family time balance was incredibly difficult, but the way we made it through was you were a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we would have done it as two full-time working parents. We made a lot of sacrifices. We made a lot of sacrifices early on when I was a trooper, making $35,000, $36,000, $37,000 a year.
It was rough.
And we made a decision for you to stay home. Mm-hmm. But because my schedule was not flexible whatsoever, it was always changing, always different shifts, shift work. And I was fortunate enough while I was working, a lot of times if a ball game or something was local, my department would allow us to go watch. We'd go do whatever we wanted as long as we didn't have a call. So I could go to ball games while I was on duty, and the patrol saw that as a very good thing, because that was a uniformed officer out in public, and it was good for public relations, good to see, you get to see a lot of the community, and people always had questions and stuff at ball games or church. I'd go to church while I was working, so that was very fortunate. But I think the biggest thing for us for balancing family time with work when I had a full-time normal job was the fact that we made a decision for you to stay home. And could we have made more money earlier in our life? Absolutely. Yeah. But we didn't send our kids to daycare. Mm-mm. And we were able to always make our kids a priority, even though I wasn't able to be at everything.
Yeah, and
it was a teamwork thing.
I make jokes, now, but for 14 years, I mean, I was kind of a single parent a lot of times. I mean, obviously he was very involved when he was off work, but because of the shift work, you know, it made it very hard for me to have help. You know, so I was taking kids and going every different directions, and doctor's appointments and dentist, and just everything was on me, you know, and I thrive on that. I feel like I love that. Not doing it all by myself. I don't mean that. I just mean I love being needed. I think that's why I became a mom, partially. You know, it was just, I love being needed, even though I'm undervalued. I didn't know how undervalued I would be in the beginning.
So what you're saying is you're kind of like Earl was in the beginning of this video.
Yeah, very needy. Yes. Yeah. I loved being a mom. I loved being here. Now, with that being said, were there struggles? You betcha. It can be very lonely, very isolating, especially like early on. Facebook wasn't big. Like there wasn't a lot of social media. There wasn't Netflix. Like was there Netflix? I don't know.
We didn't pay for it.
We didn't pay for it for sure. You know, we were broke, you know, and anyway, I love being a mom, and it's very hard sometimes. That's for another podcast. We will definitely do that another podcast, but I'm not crying on this one.
We're going to make it through it. All right, next question.
Next
we
question.
Got to keep this thing rolling.
Yes,
we're going to
do.
be here for an hour.
Well, okay. Lynn says, do you ever just travel? And while traveling, do you adventure to meet followers? Let me tell you, if there's anything you know about me, I love to travel. I love seeing all different kinds of things. Now, I prefer it to be warm, like sunny and 85 is my perfect locations. But I do love to travel, and I love that our channel has kind of grown and evolved into allowing us to do that, because in the beginning,
hang on, it didn't just happen. Like I had to force it. I had to force my viewers to watch our travel adventures.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So, anyway.
But I love that our channel has evolved into a family channel and not just a garden and farm channel. I love that those things guide us here, but being able to include our friends and our family, our kids into so much awesome stuff. And it's because of our subscribers and viewers and all of that. But we get to share that with you, and it's amazing. So thank you for that, by the way. But while we're traveling, do we adventure to meet followers? No, we have not. We usually do to meet creators, to make more content for y'all.
It's collaborations. I mean,
Yes.
that's a great way to build an audience and it helps the other creator. It's like a teamwork thing.
Yes.
We do our best to find other channels. We watch a lot of YouTube.
We watch
between
a lot of
us
YouTube,
and Houston, and we watch a lot of YouTube. So we find creators in areas where we would like to go and befriend them on social media.
Yeah,
honestly.
and other people have done the same with us.
But I mean, we build a rapport with people, and we watch their stuff. Like it's not just we target somebody and go, we're going to be there. But like Houston, for example, has watched Blake's Exotic Animal Ranch for years. And when we were in Chicago for Greg's deal, we were literally just walking down the hall and walked past a room, and Houston glanced in a room and went, "Hey, what's up, Blake?" And just kept walking. Like that was it.
And we were like, Blake who?
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't even look, you know.
Yeah.
He just was like, "Hey, what's up, Blake?" But it was somebody that we had watched for a long time, and we got to know him there. And he invited us down to his place. We do some collaboration videos together. Helps both channels grow. It helps both audiences introduce your audience to somebody else that they may not know.
Right.
So to say that we just go to meet followers, I mean, and we've met a lot of followers in places we've gone.
We've done meetups and things like that, but we haven't ever just traveled specifically to a place to meet a follower or a fan. I feel like that'd kind of be a little odd, in a sense.
I mean, it maybe not odd. You've got to have a purpose. Like, what's our purpose for going there? You know, if it was somebody that sent us an email and said, "Hey, we live on this farm. We've got all these animals. We'd love for you to come
Sure.
see all the animals and tour our place. That's something we would do, just to go. I mean, we got 650,000 followers on YouTube
Yeah, and you start
400,000 followers on Facebook. That's over 1 million people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So we don't just make it a point just to go see a follower. But a friend of mine did one time sell some merch, and like he ships out his merch everywhere. But he was going somewhere, and he was like, I'm gonna take a package, and he went and knocked on the door and hand delivered it to like another state. It was pretty cool, made for a pretty cool little video. That'd be interesting sometime.
Number 3. I forgot I didn't write down who asked this question, so I'm sorry. Did DJ do all the outdoor things, fishing, hunting, mudding, before you met?
Did DJ do any outdoor things before we met? Should be the question.
I did not really. I mean, I'd gone like four-wheeling a few times, and but no. I mean, first of all, I was in college. I had a little boy.
You were a single mom.
I was a single mom in college, and I worked, and no, I did not. There was no time for that.
She didn't have hobbies.
I did not have hobbies. Weston was my hobby. He was my.
Weston's still your hobby.
Oh no, we don't have to do that.
Weston's still your hobby.
That could be a different podcast.
So, anything else?
Song of the week, guys.
Hang on. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? Why is Bear not in your family photo? I bet that's been asked 100
my
times
gosh.
since we started doing podcasts in front of this picture.
Okay, so that day we had a friend here shooting a quick little merch intro thing ad for us, and we were all at the barn. Bear was at the barn. I took pictures of him at the barn where he was doing his job. That is his purpose. That's why we got him years ago as a puppy, which I want to say, there's been a lot of hate on Earl, and I'm really sick of it. Like, let's just be frank. I'm so tired of it. I want to tell you about Bear. So when Bear was a puppy, when he was a year old, which is how old Earl is currently, Bear was the worst dog. Like, the worst dog. He would not stay at the barn. He was mean to the animals. Mean's not the right word. He was a puppy.
He liked to play.
He
was
liked to
big,
play. He
could take a baby goat and go, boom, and flip them up in the air. And
I mean, like, we had to do, Daniel had to do a lot of training with that dog. A lot. He was a turd.
Yeah. Good livestock guardian dogs don't just happen.
No.
They're puppies. They go through all the phases that. Have you ever watched what's that?
Marley. Yeah.
Watch Marley, the
Marley
TV or the
Me.
movie.
Yeah.
Marley and Me.
Yeah.
That is Bear. Like
that was Bear for sure. Yeah, he was horrible.
I had him tied up on a run. Like I strung a cable in between two trees and put a leash and a collar. He had plenty of room. He could go into the barn and all that, but he stayed on that for off and on for weeks because I had to give the goats a break from him sometimes.
Yes. And I have caught him, I can't tell you how many times, with this whole duck fiasco. Even before this set of ducks, like when we got the other original first set of ducks, the white ducks, years ago, I would be driving down the driveway, and this happened just a month ago probably with the new ducks too, but I'd be driving down the driveway and I would see him out there with something in his mouth, and then I'd drive closer and roll down the window and I'm like, Bear, what's in your mouth? And he'd open his mouth and a duck would fall out of his mouth and get up and run off. Like, that has happened multiple times. So we know 100% that Bear was killing the ducks. Now, I don't think it was out of meanness. He plays with them and he accidentally breaks their neck. It's just what happens.
But that doesn't mean that we don't like Bear.
Yes, we love Bear.
We sold t-shirts with Bear on them.
Yes.
So why was Bear not in the family photo? Because Bear has a job. He's our livestock guardian. We love Bear. Earl is a year old.
He doesn't have a job either.
He's going through what every 1-year-old dog does. So when I post a video and you see me out there and Bear and Earl are both in the pen and around the animals, and Earl takes off and chases an alpaca, or Earl takes off and chases a duck, and I yell at him and tell him to stop. That's just Earl learning, just like what Bear went through. Now,
Yes.
Earl's never going to be a barn dog, a livestock guardian. That's not his job.
No.
His job is to love me.
And he does. A lot.
So, anyways, I just wanted to address that really quickly.
Yes, so that day, we'd been at the barn doing pictures and video, and then I had come up, we came in a whole different section of our property to do our family pictures. And so we were not going to try to drag him because he would not just voluntarily come and sit there. He's just not that kind of dog. He's a guard dog.
Well, and when you do, like, Bear's personality, if I'm just sitting there talking, he'll walk up and sit down and I can pet him and all that. But if I try to say, hey, Bear, come here, he may come to me.
And
but a
then
lot of
he'll
times he's just going to
fall
lay down and roll
Yeah.
over. That's just Bear. He's like, okay, pet me. Like, he's a very big, tough dog, but he knows his place in the structure, in the order of things. So he will kind of, not cower down to me, but so he wouldn't just sit there like
No.
these three did for a picture. So.
No. These have been actual trained to do that. I feel like at least Bella and Jimma both.
Well, it took 10 minutes just to get those three together for a picture.
Yes.
And I bet Bella half the time was turned around
She was.
backwards and
Yeah. Thankfully, Katie was there helping,
anyways,
navigate.
so
But
that's
yeah.
why Bear's not in the family photo. Not because we don't love Bear.
No, we love Bear, and he does a great job for the most part at what he does. Sometimes he just doesn't know his own strength and kills our ducks.
Let's end on that.
So please, quit running all the hate on Earl. Jeez, it hurts my feelings. What?
Precious Earl.
Even though he's your favorite, you're his favorite. Like, jeez.
It's your dog.
I know. Okay. I didn't write it down, but I know what it is. Song of the week is Up by Luke Bryan. Go listen to it. It's wonderful. That's what we're trying to do here.
Crank it up.
Wrong
Different song.
song.
That was
Yeah,
Earl Dibbles Jr.
That was Earl Dibbles, yeah.
So, Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan, Up. And I guess that's it for this one. So, as my papa always said, do your best.